morning. Before I say too much, I'd like to draw your attention to the announcements at the back of your bulletin. This coming Thursday, a UCW meeting at Cardiff on the 6th of September, 9:30 in the morning. Now on Sunday, September the 9th, is the official board meeting at St. Mark's at 2 o'clock. And we're asking you to join us and help us with our plans for the balance of this year and 2019. And also coming up on the 22nd of this month, if you don't want to wash dishes, or maybe you do want to wash dishes. Cardiff Community Centre is having a turkey supper. And I was going to say I have more details later, but I have the details today. The time is usual from 4:30 to 6:30. Adults, $13. You don't get any feathers with that, but it's $13. And $6 for children who are 6 to 12 years of age, under 6, free. Okay? I'll have that in the bulletin for next Sunday. Any other announcements for the good of the church? No? Okay, good. It's been a busy week in more ways than one. And a week ago, Friday, for 2 Fridays now, I have been ushering at the Northern Lights Pavilion in Halliburton for the opera group. I don't like opera. An awful lot of screeching. They've got to say what they have to say twice as long as it takes anybody else to speak to say what they've got to say. And on the first Friday night, it was okay. I got railroaded into it anyway by my wife, so I had to do yes, dear, you see, so I do it. But I have to admit that the second Friday, which was last Friday, a week ago Friday, I ushered again with 2 others. I wasn't the house manager, I was just an usher, for La Bohème by Puccini. Completely different. It was fantastic the way they had to coordinate, if you will, the singing, the actions that had to be obviously acted out with feeling and a desire to impress the particular singing of the songs that they were doing, and their timing, their positioning. Now, I don't know whether you've been to the Northern Lights Pavilion, but of course there are a lot of steps. And they were all over the steps as well as down on the stage during the course of the opera. My job when I was at the foot of those steps was to be sure that nobody stumbled down the steps. And these people were running up and down as if it was nothing. But having heard them sing and the hard work that they did to put it together, to coordinate it, the props, the costumes were present day. It was, a present day. It wasn't the old-fashioned costumes. But it was beautifully done. And in going through my little books, I came across this joke. Now, I'm going to ask you to use your imagination. In the dazzling white armor of Lohengrin, Lawrence Melchior once sang his sad farewell to Elsa, moving step by step with the surging music toward the swan boat which would carry him away. But something happened off stage, and the mechanics pulled the swan into the wings before Melchior could step into it. Finishing his song, in a sotto voice plainly audible in the 5th row, he asked, "What time does the next swan leave?" Okay. Now, the owner of a small restaurant had asked John Hines to print a sign reading "Gentleman" for his establishment. John, thinking to dress it up a bit, added the word "Monsieur" and Spanish "Señoras" and Italian "Signori." And from an old plate, I copied some Chinese characters, sure that no one would have any more idea than I of their meaning. A few weeks later, the proprietor informed me that a Chinese student had been convulsed with laughter upon seeing the sign. When translated, it read, Chinese relief. And I've got a final one here. A final one. The seeing eye dog boarded the crowded streetcar with his master and led him to the only available space on the seat running the length of the car. It was too small to accommodate even a child, but the dog began pushing the passengers on either side further and further apart with his nose. Every other passenger in turn squeezed against his neighbor. When there was room enough to accommodate 2 people, the dog signaled his master to be seated. The passengers' pleased expressions dissolved into laughter. When the dog climbed onto the remaining space beside his master, relaxed with his head on the blind man's lap. He was not dumb dog. He was clever. Let us begin our praise. Lord, reveal your presence as we now adore you, and with awe appear before you. Here is this your temple, all within keep silence, gather now with deepest reverence. You are alone, God we own, you are God and Savior, praise your name forever. As autumn approaches, look and see sunlight dancing on the waters and shimmering in waves above endless sand beaches.
Gold rocks splashed in glorious colour beside the road, and butterflies perform minuets across the fields. God has created, it is good.
As autumn approaches, stop and listen as birds welcome the morning light with joyous songs, and grasshoppers sing in the heat of the day, while children at play laugh in sheer delight.
Corn cobs, apples, pumpkins, harvests of your bounty grace our tables, as families gather to give thanks to our Creator God.
Our opening hymn of praise is number 327, All Praise to Thee, 327.